Buongiorno! We are going to be building a Beach Side Minimart kiosk in Sulani on a 30 by 20 lot today. And as you can see, I already pulled some objects that I wanted to use. I had one reference picture that I will put on the screen right now that inspired this whole entire build. And we will just be browsing debug for a second here to pull a few things, because I build with a lot of CC, as some of you might already know. But sometimes it really does make sense to just use the better build by filter to just go and take a look at debug. Because, for example, I could have built this on my own. Like, I could have taken many objects, tool modded stuff and everything. But sometimes, guys, just take a look at debug, because, for example, these, perfect for this build. I wouldn't have even had anything like similar CC wise. So yeah, we are just placing some of the biggest objects right now to then figure out what we are going to be doing with the stores. As you saw on the reference picture, it's only like a shot of like the outside of the store. So yeah, it was kind of up to me what to do with the inside. But the objects that I pulled earlier before I started recording, I had some like fruit stands that I really wanted to use. So that was something that I knew before I started building, that I wanted to use those. And then since I want to send my legacy family that we are playing on this channel, Hope and Rowan, to Sulani. And the last time I uploaded was probably like, I don't know, like over 2 weeks ago, because I've basically just been renovating like Sulani one build at a time. First, I just wanted to build their like villa that they are staying in. And then it turned into me building this, a beach side, like, I don't know, day bar, a restaurant, and then also a pottery studio. So yeah, but as you can see, I'm just trying to figure out the overhang of the roof basically, and to just try and place some like landscaping as well, to just get an idea where I even have like space to like build. And you see the purple tree in the back on the right side. That is one of the trees that I used on the like beachside day spa lot. And I don't know, I think it really looks really nice in Sulani. So yeah, we're just basically filtering to find like some food stall stuff. And also I was thinking about the building, like the first one on the left side, to put like some stalls in the front, like a flea market kind of vibe. And you'll see that I pulled like a lot of stuff from, I think it's the Basement Treasure Kit, for example, the Crystal Creation one, because they have a really nice like table stall. So yeah, I was thinking about using like the Crystal Creation like table stall, but I changed my mind and was kinda then going for like a flea market type of vibe, which I also ended up changing. I love this little trolley. I think it's CC by, is it Soft Pines? And also these like postcard stands, which basically were also like a really big part of like inspiring this build. And then I knew that I wanted to have like an open concept, quote unquote. So basically like no real doors, just like, it's Sulani at the end of the day, right? So it's like really hot anyways. So do we really need doors? No, we don't. So I just went with these, what's it called? You know what I mean. And it's not a plumb blob brain rot build without some graffiti. So of course I knew the wall was like visible when you like walk into the lot basically. So yeah, just went with this one yet again. It's actually one of my favorites, because you can size it up, you can size it down. It's really versatile. And And yeah, here you can see me pulling like some crystal creation stuff, and this is the table that I was like after, because look, there are some like boxes like underneath the table, and it's like visually like a lot more interesting. And then I just looked through the packs that I have and chose some of the filters that I thought like would fit the idea that I had of the build. So yeah, we are just pulling like a lot of stuff, some of which we will use and some we will get rid of in a bit, because sometimes you just have to keep building. Like, I was really pissed off at this point because I had no real direction. For me, it's like kind of a rule by now that I won't start building without the reference, and usually it's more than one reference because I struggle a lot with the exteriors. So for me, it's really important to have like a reference for the exterior especially. But I had none for the interior of the build with this one, which was a big mistake. So yeah, we will just have to push through. But I think you can actually like buy fruit from these like fruit display things. And yeah, so then I decided to make it like basically symmetrical on each side, just checking with the grid and tool mod if I need to move some stuff. And then we needed some lights in there. And first I tried to like go with the mood lighting right away, but it's really, really hard to have like no idea of a build and then try and already match the vibe. So I think I will change that in a bit because they are kind of distracting as well. So I was still kind of in the mood for like a flea market type of vibe, but then I saw this like cash register thing, and then it just clicked. It just clicked. I knew it's gonna be like a mini mart kind of thing, same as Canal Corner that I built for Evergreen Harbor, that you can also download on my Patreon for free, by the way. So I will put the link in the description. But I just knew it's gonna be like a kiosk thing, but also utility-wise, like you can get some sunscreen, you can get some, I don't know, like diving stuff, and also souvenirs. And then paired up with the fruit, I thought it would be kind of cute. So yeah, we are just gonna start pulling stuff that like goes with the idea of like a mini mart. I knew that I wanted like a food display if you decide to use this like as a small business lot, because I think that could be actually pretty fun. So then I just filtered for the mini mart stuff, because then it's a lot easier to pull like matching stuff, and that I will need anyways. So yeah, we're just gonna stock the cigarette display with the liquor, and also add some fruit to the basket as well. Also like a little TV for security reasons. And then of course this lovely like lit up sign. And I don't know if you just noticed, but the bottom of the roof was like open, so there was no way for me to like put like flooring or ceiling stuff on there, which really pissed me off. So we had to build the outside part as a room so I can add the flooring on the ceiling. Yeah, I'm just checking if that actually worked and putting back the columns. And then I just removed the flooring, and as you can see, there's this gray line where the walls like are invisible basically of the room, quote unquote, which are so annoying. Like, these are like tiny things where my perfectionism comes out, which is a really, really bad idea because stuff in The Sims can be glitchy at times. So yeah, I just dealt with it, and now I knew that there was like a soft pine or softer pine like display thing, and I didn't remember what was on it, but it's like the one on the right with the mountains, which doesn't really fit Sulani. We kept it for a while, but we got rid of it in the end. And yeah, while I'm browsing like creators, I just like scroll through and find stuff that like fits the idea that I have. So this is like the ugly stage, 80% of me building, which I just have to push through. And I highly recommend you pushing through as well, because like everything just comes together in the last 20%, which is really hard in the meantime while building, but I promise it's gonna pay off. Like stuff like me sizing down the sign and using tool mod to lower it. Like it's all of these teeny tiny details that actually like make the build come alive. Yeah, this is another lit up sign that I toyed around with using, but I don't know, it didn't work for this build. Yeah, just added some more fish related stuff to the market store. And then we are back with the Minimart stuff, and we will just be figuring out the layout right now while just adding little details like the EBT acceptance, like sticker thingy on the outside. Yeah, as you can see, the bottles are not like properly on the shelf, which I didn't fix up in the end because I don't think it's that noticeable. Also added the ATM, and yeah, just putting the stuff on the shelves, which didn't really look nice, and I didn't want to put in the effort, to be honest, with like using tool mod. And now we are just like cleaning up the outside and getting rid of all the evidence of this maybe becoming like a flea market type of store. But we kept the plastic chairs and also the table. Yeah, and as you can see, I just tried changing the placements of the sign, but I don't know, it just didn't feel right. This is just too much. The fresh stuff, I don't know. It feels more like a barber sign to me, to be honest. So yeah, we will definitely be using this in one build someday, I guess. Just checking if I wanted different tables, but I really like this, like, I don't know, it's a chill vibe with the plastic chairs and just this dingy table, which is not like too scuffed up, but like it's old. I don't know, it's giving 90s to me, and a lot of builds are inspired by nostalgia for me. So yeah, this is just how I like to build, I guess. And yeah, we are just figuring out the floor plan now, because we needed to stock some shelves to like make this like a store for real. Just using tool mod to like get them like close enough to each other. And this was basically my idea with using the softer pine like display with the mountain, and then adding like sunscreen and stuff. But I don't know, I think in the end it just looked weird walking into the store and then having like the sunscreen stuff on a shelf that doesn't really match Sulani, in my opinion. And then the postcards on the other side, like, I don't know, gave me the ick. So yeah. And I just tried putting like the key chain thing on there, and just pulling stuff that we had placed on the outside. And I think now we are going to be stocking shelves. Oh yeah, I just started pulling the drinks and the snacks while like scrolling through. And the thing with the fridge for the drinks is that once you place the drinks on a shelf, it's really hard to like get them off the shelf, because you basically have to like zoom into the fridge so much that like the fridge starts to disappear, and then you have to be really lucky to be able to like click the drinks itself, and then you can get them off. So I just started like pulling drinks instead, and just making like rows of the stuff that I thought would look cool. Like which one is like the shelf on eye level. Is there like just water fridge? Is there like a fridge with just like non-alcoholic like fun drinks? So we will come back to this later, but since this is in Sulani, I thought it would be fun to use snacks that are maybe like not US-ish, because as we know, like The Sims has so many US based worlds, but I don't know. I never lived in Sulani. I just got on vacation to Sulani. Didn't really caught my eye, but since I basically renovated like I think almost 50% of like whole of Sulani, and I'm putting my own spin on it, like it's kind of growing on me. So I'm really excited to take Hope and Rowan on vacation to Sulani. And yeah, just now again, just browsing through the set and trying to figure out what makes sense on the shelf. And here you can see me basically matching up the drinks that I want in each fridge and basically putting them in order to see if I would like it like that on the shelf. And yeah, I felt pretty happy with it. And to be honest, I didn't notice that we will need like another row for like 2 fridges, but yeah, just added some other fun drinks and some milk on the bottom, because I think we have the Nesquik bottled like chocolate milk things above on the shelf. So yeah, just, I don't know, your Sims can buy cereal here, why won't they be able to like buy milk as well, right? Yeah, just replacing the lights, because imagine going with the really decorative lights in a build like this. Like, I'm like all here for it. If you like to build like that, amazing. But for me, we needed these like dingy like lights. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm just using tool mod to like space out things in a way that it makes sense. Checking from the outside at night how it looks with the lighting, if we need to add more, if we need to change the layout. And here I just typed in around The Sims 4, so AST4, because I knew I wanted this card, and then just browsed that a bit. So now we are moving on to like pulling from the stuff that I pulled before I started recording. And I think this is by Softer Pine as well, this like seaside or 3 seagull motel sign, which I thought color-wise looked really, really nice with this build. And this telephone box thing is like mirrored, so it has like a telephone on each side, which I like the idea of, but not for this build. So we just like nudged it into the wall and made sure that the cigarette display is like covering all of it, to make that a bit easier. Yeah, and as you can see, there was the gemology table thing, but I just went with the food store because we have the benches in the front anyways. So I thought that would make a lot more sense. And I'm just playing around with the spacing of the objects, because it's really hard for me to explain, but if we look at the build like at eye level, I think it's really important to like make sure there are different heights in different like distances, if that makes sense, to make it like visually more interesting. Because the tuk-tuk, for example, was so incredibly hard to place for me, because the vendors were all in line, so I needed some like depth, so I had to move the red one back, so then the blue one was exposed. But I didn't want the tuk-tuk all the way at the back, but then I think we ended up going with like putting it back there. So yeah, if we would look at the build right now from like eye level from the front, we would be able to see the red vendor, and then the blue one is slightly in front. So it's like leading the eye, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like I come from, I don't want to say like a drawing background, but like I understand this whole value and size and stuff. And then also I did photography. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think that is like how I build, if that makes sense. Just checking how stuff looks at night. And then I think I was really brave and got rid of the things that I knew would not be needed in this build. So when I grabbed like this bikini and placed it in the other room, it just clicked that I knew that I wanted like a souvenir shop on the other side. And then I think I was browsing Pinterest for a bit to like get an idea of how like a souvenir shop would look like, or like what would be sold in like this climate. Since this room was kinda done but looked really bland, I just went with like mold and scratches and like discolored walls, which just will like pull like a build together. If you build like grungier stuff, would not really work in like in a minimalistic kitchen or such. But for builds like this, like layering graffiti, for example, and just adding like, I don't know, tiny details that would just like pop up over time. Just putting some guitars in the souvenir part of the build as well, because they look really tropical, summery fun, so might as well. Just adding some fire extinguisher like plate things, which I don't know, I started doing that pretty regularly now. Because I built so many community lots, like it's really rare for me to build like a residential like lot. And this, I don't know, this fire extinguisher, like one of my favorite like CC items, to be honest, I think. And this little sign above the ice cream cooler, I think it's functional, so you will be able to buy ice cream when you visit this lot. Yeah, and then I just, since I was already in the painting category, I just browsed like the category and looked for stuff that would like fit the stuff that would be sold in a climate like this. And I was really surprised with the adventure weight, like this one above the fruit stand right now. Really, really, really beautiful. Like I have not built with the adventure weight stuff at all, to be honest. I looked at all the stuff and I think there are a lot of like cool items, so maybe I will do that. Also this, oh, so nice. The one with the fit, oh, like adventure weights really popped off with like the wall decoration. So cute. And then since this was the souvenir part, I knew that we needed some more shelves. And yeah, just using ToolMod to figure out where I want to place those. And I have more license plates. I don't know, I think it's just like a really like small fun thing that you can use like a teenage bedroom, in, I don't know, like a bar. Like these CC items like are really cherished by me, because it's just like teeny tiny details, like the sticker that we put, or the sign that we put above the post box thing outside. And yeah, I just pulled many of the license plates and then yeah, made a selection from those and saw and kind of like chose what colors would fit what we are going for in here. And once again, tool mod coming in clutch. Like, I can't build without tool mod. Every single time this damn game gets updated and tool mod needs to be updated. Oh, painful. Because yes, I of course have the auto update stuff turned off, because we kind of know how the EA apps sometimes like to act, right? And also the pictures that I just placed, the one with the palm tree and the sea star, and then also the butterflies above, I think they are from the Parenthood expansion pack, which I was really surprised by. Like, I would never use those like paintings in like another build. Like, I think it's really specific for me that like I like them in this build. But yeah, really surprised. And then I love Charisi and the CC they do and the mods they do. For example, this one, like the clothing changing room mod and you being able to buy some clothes. So fun. I can highly recommend checking out their Patreon. I will put the link in the description box. And I think they just put out, either it was the work in progress post or them announcing that they have some animated deco sims in like a Halloween edition, which looks so fun. So yeah, I will just put their link in the description box, so please go and check them out. And then I don't know, my brain works in mysterious ways. I have ADHD, I'm autistic. I was just building this and then somehow Tiki like popped into my head, and I knew that I had this one specific drink, which then basically inspired the rest of the souvenirs that are being sold in here, which is, yeah, my brain works in mysterious ways. I'm really grateful that I thought of this, because then, I don't know, this is the second time it just clicked for me, like building this. Just using tool mod, really getting into a flow state, just like changing swatches and just cluttering the shelves, which I'm always really intimidated by, because it's like the tiny details that, yeah, just like make a build make sense, if that makes sense. But yeah, just cluttering the shelves, that was really fun for me. Also finding some more postcard stands while I was browsing. So I think we will be adding them on the inside, I guess. But or maybe we did place them on the outside. And I think this one is from the... is it Glamour Stuff Pack? Or is it the... Oh no, it might be from... I don't know. But this is so beautiful. I use this as a statue quite often, to be honest. But also sizing it down and then using the different swatches. This is just basically the point in a build where I have a really clear vision and it just clicks and I can just build, which is, yeah, the fun part. And as I said, it's the last like 20% basically, because take a look at the timestamp in the video right now. It's kinda actually like the last 20%. But it's so rewarding to like see a build come together. So yeah, just continuing to browse the clutter category and just pulling like some small stuff. Like, what would I like to see in a souvenir shop if I visited a place like Sulani? I don't know. So yeah, just kept browsing, just kept using tool mod to place stuff on the shelf. I don't know why this would make sense in a souvenir shop, but it looked tacky with the jewelry holder, the bracelet holder below. So I don't know. It fit the atmosphere and like the visuals of this build, this lot. So I just went with it, and I can't emphasize enough how important it is to go with the stuff that fits the build and not with the stuff that you find beautiful or fun to build, if that makes sense, as bad as it sounds, because this bag looks ridiculous. Like, I don't even know where I got this, but I don't know, next to like the bracelets and like this really, like the really cheap slippers on the lower shelf and like the teddies and makeup bags, I don't know. I think this like cluttering the shelf stage really pulled together like this section of the build. And yeah, since we already had like shoes on all of the lower shelves, might as well add some slippers on the third lower shelf as well, right? So yeah, just browsing the clutter stuff and just adding stuff where I think it makes sense. I think it's always like, it's pretty realistic to like sell like mugs and everything in like a souvenir shop or section of a shop. Just adding handbags because in close proximity there are already other handbags, and sometimes it is as simple as that. Like, do these like wired trays make sense? No. But do they fit like the section of the build? Yes. And does the section of the build fit the build itself? Yes. I don't know if this will resonate with anyone, but I think this is what voiceovers are kind of for, like to think out loud how someone builds. So yeah, either you hate it or you love it, I guess. And I always love to like add like leaning stuff because it looks like stuff was in motion, with like the leaning chair in the fruit stand area, or also like the leather leaning chair by the cash register, and also the mop. Like, I don't know, I said this a million times, storytelling starts in build mode in my humble opinion. So don't make it look too clinical, if that makes sense. Like, for example, this shelf is cluttered, yes, but not everything is placed really, really nicely. And these are the things that I think make a build come to life. So I highly encourage you to build, I don't want to say ugly stuff, but really lean into what you're building. This is, I think, why like reference images are so important. Because I would have been so lost if I didn't go to Pinterest a second time to look at like interior stuff of like souvenir shops. So always start with building always start building with a reference. I think this is one of the biggest tips I have to like, yeah, I don't want to say become a builder, but have like a lot of fun while building. Yeah, and while I browsed the clutter category, there were a lot of like painkiller stuff, like medicine. So I thought that would make sense to have that on the shelf that is facing the cash register, if that makes sense. And I think I just checked who the creator was of one of the items that we used, and I can highly recommend doing that. If you find one item that you really, really like, that you would just look up the creator, because most often than not, it's like a set. So you will have like clutter, for example, in this case, that already matches what you need, if that makes sense. And how I cluttered these shelves is basically pretty easy. I just pull one of the clutter items, place it on the shelf, and then when you grab it with Alt, you can get it off the shelf, but it will stay at the same height off the shelf. I explained this really not well. But anyways, you can then use Toolmod to also like put it back on the shelf. So for example, I placed the toothpaste on the shelf, pulled it off because it's at the same height, and then selected all of it to then like alt click and place the cluttered items back on the shelf. I think this is as good as my explanation of this is gonna be. So please excuse if this was really confusing. But once again, just grabbing random items, twisting them, turning them, just making it look like this shelf is being used, if that makes any sense. So at this point, I grabbed all the stuff that I could get from the set of the creator of the next care, for example, or the painkillers. So we went back into the clutter category and just browsed for some like more medicine stuff. And as you can see, once again, I'm grabbing all the things. And then we will be using Toolmod to select the item that we want to be on top, if that makes sense. So to have like the packaging stacked. And it's actually pretty easy. You just have to raise the clutter item by, I think, 0.05, if I'm not mistaken. And then it's the perfect height, basically. And once you remember these teeny tiny hacks, like for example, remembering the specific increment you have to raise items, like a lot of boundaries will be gone while building. And that's really, really rewarding. So please, if you want to get into building, start learning Toolmod. I know it sounds like, or it looks really intimidating in the beginning, but it's so freeing. Like, I promise, it's worth the few hours, days that you need to like get used to using Toolmod. But yeah, as you can see, for example, this would be so painful without the Toolmod. You would get all of the toothpaste, all of the mouthwash off the shelf, place them on the lower shelf, or place them like off. Toolmod, I can't live without Toolmod. Like, I would not be able to build like this without Toolmod. So yeah, if you're a console player and watching this, I don't want to say I'm sorry because I don't want to sound like patronizing, but how do you do it, guys? Like, could not be me. Anyways, we are moving on to cluttering the last two shelves with sunscreen, and I think body wash and hair care, the top one. So yeah, I'm just choosing the swatches and then all placing them off. I think this is a Bath and Body Works CC set that I downloaded recently because I built like a Y2K Tuscan villa inspired home, which is already up on my Patreon. And I don't know, when I think of like that specific time, not that I live in the US or like I live in Germany, but like I was a teen during the YouTube Prime like beauty days, basically, so 2015, like that time frame. And Bath and Body Works, like the, what's it called, Black Friday, the hauls of like all of the candles and the body wash, like I was so jealous. So yeah, I think that really fit well in this build because they have like different scents, and I think we chose one of them was like a pineapple one. So yeah, for a tropical vacation, I think that just like fit the whole vibe, I guess. Yeah, and just going back to placing some more scratches and such. And I know it looks a bit much in the beginning because, for example, the area with the surfboards, like I knew this corner looked too clean, but like placing all this like mold and grimy stuff, like it looks too much in the beginning because it's a big contrast, and that's what I was like after, basically. But you just have to like trust the process and just layer stuff. Also, putting graffiti on the inside didn't really make sense for me storytelling wise, because yes, that might happen on the outside pretty easily because there's like no supervision, but on the inside, I don't know. I could not like picture that. And yeah, I pulled these like fruit basketball things before I started recording, and I don't want it to like have these objects go to waste, if that makes sense. So I just looked for like a table that fit like the architecture style, and like, I don't know, once again, in this climate and how like traditional furniture was made or is being made. And we just placed it on the outside. And honestly, this is the first time I saw the outside, or we saw the outside, in this like sunset lighting. And like, I was gasping. Like, I was literally sitting in front of my PC like, because it looks so beautiful, especially with the tree. And this is what I like said with like the layering and different heights. The shadows look interesting on this lot because stuff is placed like in different distances and have different heights. So the way light is shining through like the palm trees, for example, makes this visually interesting. I don't know if I sound insane or if this is making sense to anyone, but yeah, finishing the last teeny tiny details, I guess, like the fire extinguisher. And this is quite literally it. This build will be up on Patreon by next week, I think, on Monday or Sunday. So I will put the link in the bio once this build is out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, bye!